Jon Trask 他其实除了是 Dimitra Incorporated 的创办人兼执行长之外，他其实也是牛津大学赛德商学院区块链战略计划以及索尔福德大学理学的硕士哦，专攻数位创新以及供应链。那我们接下来呢，就来一起观赏这一段预录的演讲。
Well, thank you for having me here. It's an honor to be here at this prestigious conference and have an opportunity to introduce Dimitra to you and talk a little bit about the integration of technology into agriculture. Today, we're going to be using a use case that's an important one to us, which is related to the production and value chain around coffee. The Dimitra app is a app that works in many facets of agriculture, from livestock through many crops, and in many languages around the world. But thank you, and today I'll introduce the integration of modern technology from bean to cup. Initially, I want to talk a little bit about Dimitra, and Dimitra is an ag tech company. It was founded from some other agricultural related products that I had built a while ago, a number of years ago. And we have continued development over the last couple of years within the corporation Dimitra. Dimitra itself is the goddess of agriculture, and her role historically was to teach the people better ways to improve their agricultural performance. So it's a great, I guess, segue into what we're trying to do with Dimitra is deliver software to help farmers around the world produce more crops, reduce their costs, mitigate risk. And we do this a lot of ways. The main way that we do this is really around delivering recommendations to farmers and to different participants in the extended agricultural supply chain. And we'll talk a little bit about that. There's some key components. One of the components is the technology itself, which is delivered through mobile or through web. But then beyond that, we incorporate other types of technology like satellite and IoT sensors, artificial intelligence and blockchain. So there's a lot of different technologies at play in different areas of the platform to help deliver this value to the farmer. We think this is important to talk about because we know there's challenges in the world. There's world food shortage, there's hunger issues, there's food security issues, there's environmental issues, all associated with agriculture. And every farmer is a steward of the land. And the value that a farmer and we have at Dimitra is to improve the land, improve our climate situation, while helping address some of these other large issues that every country in the world and every farmer is trying to cope with. So one of our mottos is we really want to put simple, beautiful, effective technology into the farmer's hands. That's our core goal. How do we make the farmer more knowledgeable, more powerful? And partnering with those farmers through this electronic relationship is one way that we can help do that. So, this is a statement that I made at one point, but every smallholder farmer, regardless of their economic standing, should benefit from simple, beautiful, and useful technology. Mainly because when farmers thrive, entire economies thrive. And we find it's important, and there's a challenge where smallholder farmers don't always have access to technology. So one of our goals at Dimitra is to find ways, working with governments, working with organizations like your own, to put this technology in the hands of the farmers and let them extract the benefit and explore how technology can help make better farming decisions. So we do this in a number of ways, and it was interesting when we were preparing for this session. One of the questions that you sent us was about the Dimitra ecosystem. And this is a unique subset of how we do business at Dimitra. And we start with what we call Dimitra Labs, really is the area where we build our connected farmer platform, our advanced technology platform, our community platforms, and our banking and finance platforms. And then we have to align that with Dimitra ecosystem partners. And, you know, I grew up, my grandfather was a farmer. I spent so much time on his farm learning from him how to farm. And one of the main things I learned was that farming is a community. And successful farming, you need all of the community to participate. So that community could be investors, it could be other technology startups, it could be seed companies, it could be governments or universities. And I think that all of these ecosystem partners, and even more than I mentioned, play a critical role in evolving the agricultural world to be successful and meet all of these big rock challenges that we have. You know, another piece is Dimitra investments, and farming needs investment. We need ways to fund new technology. We need ways to fund the growth of agriculture and make some of these changes. Lots of areas where investment is required along the agricultural chain. And at Dimitra, we want to participate in that. And then we have our corporation, kind of where we hold our token, which is in part intellectual property, and our headquarters. So tying all of this ecosystem together means that we can create a family, or we can create a community and participate in other communities, partnering with all of those critical stakeholders along the chain to enhance agriculture around the world. And we only play a very small role. We need to participate with all of those partners to be successful. We have a couple videos, and one video outlines our connected farmer platform, and one video outlines our connected coffee platform. At Dimitra, we have 3 platforms: Connected Farmer, Connected Coffee, and Livestock Guru. And Connected Farmer is a mobile platform which is really focused on bringing all of those technologies and putting that into the hand of the farmer through an Android phone, making satellite reports accessible to a farmer, making sensor analysis accessible, bringing all of that information into the cloud and analyzing that with artificial intelligence, machine learning, and producing recommendations that a farmer can consider in what they do every day. Our Connected Coffee app takes that one step further, and it ties together the elements of the coffee supply chain. So we bring in the buying stations, we bring in the processors, dry mill, wet mill, and the warehouses and the logistics network. So we actually connect the players along the value chain, allowing them to all interact effectively through a mobile app. And then we tie all that together in some of our use cases where we bring the universities in. We let the universities who are already working with some of these large cooperatives and large organizations go out using our platform to collect data and come up with recommendations. So we get the best of both worlds. We get the research and education world, we get the technological world, and both of them are there to support the farmers. So I want to play the first one, Dimitra Connected Farmer.
The world has a problem. Millions of smallholder farmers barely produce enough to feed their families. Why? They lack modern solutions to monitor crops and livestock, the means to preserve and restore the land, and chemicals, deforestation, and climate change create new threats. Without help, small farms will struggle to survive. At Dimitra, our connected farmer platform delivers blockchain, machine learning, IoT, and satellite data to smallholder farmers worldwide, empowering each user with cutting-edge technology and services. We generate value across a new ecosystem, value in which we all share as farmers, Dimitra token holders, and members of a global community, where each user, regardless of economic status, has access to simple, beautiful, and life-changing technology to increase yield, reduce cost, and mitigate risk. Crop after crop, herd after herd, season after season, Dimitra improves the lives of farmers worldwide.
Well, thank you there. And that video showed a few things that I think are important. It does cover some of the technologies. You can see drones, and we've been doing some great work with drones, running programs in Papua New Guinea around combating fall armyworm, drones in India, around monitoring and observing pests and the impact of pests, and precision agriculture and how drones fit into precision agriculture. You see the combination of satellite, and there's certain research that we can get out of satellite that helps us understand the ground more and what's happening in that environment. And then we couple those farmer observations where the farmer takes the app and tells us about what's going on their property. And then we analyze that through machine learning, like I mentioned. And then we take it out through the logistics chain, a marketplace, and a few other technologies that if you go to our website, you can learn lots more about that. I'm going to step into the Connected Coffee app, which is very coffee focused, but built on the platform around Connected Farmer.
Dimitra's Connected Coffee is the all-in-one app enabling coffee farmers, cooperatives, and traders to grow and distribute premium quality coffee worldwide. The platform is a smart farming and supply chain management solution that tracks the movement of coffee from cultivation through distribution. Dimitra Connected Coffee is grower, buyer, dry milling, and supply chain focused, enabling farmers to increase their revenues while increasing the productivity and accuracy of buying or collecting stations, drying stations, and warehouses. The platform is available in a growing list of over 15 languages, so that farmers can work in their native tongue. Dimitra Connected Coffee is a multi-stakeholder platform that can be used by all the actors in the value chain for track and trace, resource optimization, and productivity maximization. Coffee farmers use the platform to access tools that help them manage coffee plantations and increase coffee cherry quality and output. When farmers record their activities on the app, it gives them access to insights and recommendations that are driven by agronomic best practices and machine learning to help them achieve their goals. Buying stations use Dimitra Connected Coffee to automate record keeping and purchase order management, allowing buyers to focus on selecting the right coffee beans and make better purchase decisions while paying farmers accurately and on time. And they can also use labels to mark the coffee beans before they go out to drying mills and warehouses. Coffee dry mills benefit from Dimitra Connected Coffee by tracking and recording the quality of coffee before, during, and after processing. Advanced traceability and workflow management allow drying mills to control and improve production by monitoring all activities in real time. Warehouse operators get real-time visibility and insights on all inventory moving in and out of the facility. Connected Coffee enables optimization and management of incoming and outgoing inventory to help them optimize space and lower operating costs with more effective shipment management. Organizations like the Solok Rajo Cooperative in Indonesia are using Connected Coffee to manage and improve their coffee value chain to increase their profitability. Dimitra Connected Coffee seamlessly integrates and streamlines the supply chain to ensure the quality of your coffee beans and prove compliance with global food safety regulations, allowing you to focus on the bigger picture and tell the story behind your coffee beans, tracing it right back to the grower with every cup.
Okay, and if you were paying attention in some of those in the video, you saw a lot of other crops, onions and wheat and rice. And Dimitra Connected Farmer works with almost any crop. We have a number of tree-based crops and a number of annual or row crops that we support. So we don't only do coffee, we do most crops, and we do regional analysis. So it isn't standardized, this is how you grow coffee in Indonesia. We have all the top coffee countries and understand the differences between those countries and tailor the system so that it works with those. You also notice it mentioned that we had 15 languages. This video was produced a month or two ago. We now have 18 languages. And last month we loaded in Mandarin as one of those languages. And we have, I know you work in the Asian area, so we have a couple Indian languages, Nepali, and we're adding Japanese and Korean as well on top of the Mandarin, which just came in last month. So we align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. It's really important to us that we look at how do we support some of these goals and how do we improve life on the land. So we have a number of projects around the world where we're using Dimitra to analyze the carbon considerations around a farm. So what inputs is the farmer creating from a carbon perspective? What outputs are they creating? And how do we make recommendations to have the farmer, I guess, remain or retain more carbon in the ground and create less environmental impact? So use of clean water and the minimization of water while we're still maximizing outputs. We can do that with our satellite views, depending on the crop. Some of the considerations around being close to a city and a community and the impacts on the cities and the community. So everything is really built around sustainable farming and achieving some of these United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We mentioned the Connected Farmer platform, and these are some of the elements of the platform: asset management, farm management, crop management, livestock management, online agricultural marketplace, document management, where you may keep all your permits and all of your information, a knowledge garden where you can learn more about growing a particular crop, various reports, including satellite reports and analytic reports, and then a government service desk. In some countries, we integrate this, and the Dimitra platform is white labeled as a government tool, and they can offer it to the farmers in their country, and the government Ministry of Agriculture can interact with the individual farmers through our platform. List of languages down on the bottom here. Those are our current 18 languages, and we try to add another language every month, depending on where demand is for our platform. Livestock Guru is one of our platforms. It's really focused on a few things. One is livestock traceability. How do you manage your livestock from birth through its production cycle? How do you manage reproduction? So we have genetics and genomics built into the system, genetic and genomic calculations. How do you manage the health? So there's a lot of aspects within the platform in order to manage the health of the animals and the productivity associated with that health. So how do you plan production? How do you manage feed? And how do you enhance performance? So we have two versions of this platform. One of them is research focused around generating value from a research perspective. And one of them is farmer focused on how do you perform better just on your individual farms. And then, like I mentioned, Connected Coffee, which you saw the video for. We really try to be the operating system for agriculture. And one of the things that we do is we try to tie stakeholders together. There are lots of applications in the world, and there's lots of applications that are doing great work. Some of them are very farmer focused, some of them are government focused, or some of them are financially focused. We try to tie all three of those things together. So farmers can join our platform, and banks or financial institutions can join our platform. And we are a place where we can put those people together and share information as an individual user wants to share in order to work with their government or work with their financial institution or work with their university. That is one of the keys around Dimitra, and that is the connected version of the system. And that is a big differentiator for how we believe that farming should work and should be doing business. We are a global leader in agriculture. We have years of technology experience. 123 team members, or actually probably close to 150 team members now, partnering in 68 countries. We got 14 big operating projects around the world right now. And like I said, we're in 18 languages. These are just screenshots of some of the screens. We have dozens and dozens of modules that all do different things. So, you know, please watch our materials, read our website. You can learn around how we help you prepare soil or manage weeds or manage pests or interact with your government or manage your permits and your documentation. It's great information online that you can follow. When we look at the process for agriculture, we look at it based on a growing season, based on, you know, those soil inputs and soil management that starts very early in the season all the way through harvest and shipping. But then we also look at each component of that, and we break it technologically into a data ingestion phase. How do we get information from a farmer? How do we get information from the weather or from a satellite or from an IoT sensor? And we ingest all of that data, and we sort and store that data so it's usable. And then we use data analysis techniques, and we have dozens of agronomists on our platform who have built automation to analyze the information that's coming in and come back and produce analysis and recommendations to the farmer for them to consider in their decision making. And then we add in this process enhancement component where we're really looking around, you know, what process is a farmer following and what is the timing of that process? And timing is everything in agriculture. You know, timing around weather events, timing around climate events, timing around the amount of sun that we have during a day as there's a transition of sunlight throughout the year. And then we produce a monitoring tool kind of as the fourth component. How do we monitor what the farmer's doing? How do we monitor what other farmers are doing? And then how do we gather information from universities and governments in order to provide them with more intelligence, more recommendations to manage what they're doing differently in the future, or reinforce that they're already making the right decisions? One technology we use is satellite. And, you know, there's a lot we can do with satellite. If you're a member of the platform, you get 5 satellite reports about your farm, and you get that as part of the base package. We have over 20 satellite reports, I think 23 satellite reports right now that come in our advanced package. And satellite, depending on the crop, can help us maximize our potential, predict our yield, monitor the health, and manage carbon, water, fertilizer, so that we can reduce costs. Lots to learn about satellite, and satellite is one of the core tools that we use, but it's only one small tool that we use. There's a lot of satellite monitoring services out there. The key differential with us is that we combine all of the agronomy, all of the IoT data, all of the farmer knowledge and intelligence with the satellite monitoring in one platform so that our machine learning can take a look at that and analyze it as one complete data set, as opposed to 4 or 5 disparate data sets. One of our projects is a coffee project with Soluk Rajo in Indonesia, and this is a coffee cooperative with about 3,500 farms, and they wanted to digitize their process, and it's an interesting use case. We've got 4 or 5 other areas of the world that we're working on coffee, but we've written a document on how we work with Soluk Rajo, some of the objectives of that project, and some of the results of that project. And, you know, one of the most interesting things is when you take a group of farmers, you find that there's different levels of acceptance of technology. And agricultural technology is being adopted at a very quick pace around the world. But as you go into some of these cooperatives, you find there's a variety of farmers, and some of them are open to learning from new technologies. Some of them are looking to be trained on how they can do that. And some of them are a little bit afraid of it. And you have to manage the groups of farmers together, knowing that we can generate value through technology and through data. We need to find good ways to manage those challenges. And one of the ways we've done it, you can see here on the right in the picture, this is one of the top people over at Soluk Rajo Cooperative. And on the very right, that's Ricky. He's our Indonesia country manager. And Ricky's been out working with the Soluk Cooperative for probably 4 or 5 months this year, really understanding what they want and how we can apply technology to help them. And then we've also started working with a university there, where that university is increasing the knowledge and power that Ricky brings through some of the professors and researchers at the university who are researching coffee and how they can help the Soluk Rajo Cooperative. So again, it really comes down to that community and driving community. Traceability is another key piece. We put out this piece, and you can find it in our social media, around traceability in the supply chain. Traceability is being driven by a lot of organizations, by a lot of regulations. Traceability requirements are increasing due to food safety and food security concerns. How do you manage at a country level or regional level food safety or food security? And that's not only a consideration for every government now, but it's also a consideration for every company in the agricultural supply chain. And tying all of that data back to the seed, where we plant a seedling for coffee, all the way through all of the growth cycle, the health of the plant, and how you manage pests and how you manage diseases. All of those factors play a key role in producing better coffee, or in any of the other crops we work on, producing better crops. And I think organizations at every level of the value chain and supply chain are looking at that differently now. What is the source of my food? Was it grown ethically? Was it grown with my health in mind as a consumer? And people all make different decisions on how they purchase their food, what food they want to eat. And it's becoming more and more important in the world, and will continue to get more and more important. And what we see now is that there's a movement for more traceability alongside the agronomy. There's lots of good traceability apps in the marketplace. I think we're the only app that does the full agronomy cycle with the traceability. So what are the challenges that we have? And what are the challenges we had working with Soluk? And one of their challenges is access to global markets. And through the app, we help them with that. Traceability, access to mobile technology. There's a lot of areas where there isn't a cellular signal. So our platform works completely offline and will sync whenever you go into range of a cell signal or the internet? How do you digitize and improve your processes? How do you record your certification standards? And how do you make sure the farmers are receiving fair compensation so that they can be successful year over year over year? We focus on solving all of these challenges together with all of those stakeholders. And again, this is a big piece of the community that the software can help bring together in a different way than maybe agricultural communities worked in the past, which was very regional. Now we can use some of the best knowledge in the world and bring that back into those local communities. So there's a lot of benefits that come out of using technology, improving your land for planting and crop performance, as well as carbon performance. And that's a different consideration now than it was a few years ago, and really is top of mind of a lot of people in the industry. How do you get advice on those best farming practices? How do you reduce your chemicals and fertilizers, not only from a health perspective, but from a cost perspective? Those are some of the greatest costs that farmers have. How do you diagnose your problems? And these problems change year over year. Pests and diseases, although many of the same pests and diseases are around, there's resistance that grows in them and changing cycles. How do you manage water and irrigation? And how do you, I guess, minimize your water usage while maximizing your output, as water is a growing concern? How do you track and trace? How do you manage weeds? And how do you remediate your soil? And we're working on a project in India right now with about 2 million farms. And those farms have degraded soil over the years, like many countries, actually most countries, because of different practices, because of climate change, because of industrialization and the adoption of industrialization. We have to look at how we manage our soil. And within our app, we can help people rebuild their soil and build that vitality back into their soil over the years. So that's a huge factor for us in effective farming. So, like I said, the Connected Farmer app is the core agricultural app that we have. And then we have the Livestock Guru app. Number of languages here, again. And if you want to go to our website, you can learn more about what we're doing through our news feed. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email's right there, john@dimitra.io. So thank you for your time today, and enjoy the rest of the conference.